unforgettable beauty. 7. Raquel Welch. Eastwood never worked with Raquel Welch, yet he was captivated. "She walked in like she didn't need to say a word," he said. Born Jo Raquel Tejada in 1940, Welch redefined the 1960s sex symbol with fire, independence, and self-possession. 1 million years BC launched her fame, but Eastwood admired her presence more than her looks. Beauty worn like armor, power that didn't seek approval. Even decades later, she remained magnetic and formidable. 6. Audrey Hepburn. Not his type, yet impossible to ignore. Audrey Hepburn was class personified, graceful, and quietly powerful. Roman Holiday introduced her gamine elegance, a stark contrast to Hollywood's voluptuous icons. Their rare encounters left Eastwood unusually nervous. Her fragility and inner strength created a magnetic paradox that defined timeless beauty. Audrey Hepburn had a rare kind of strength, confidence to appear vulnerable. Classics like Breakfast at Tiffany's, My Fair Lady, and Wait Until Dark showcased her range, but Eastwood admired her work in The Nun's story most. No glamour, no jewelry, just a face conveying more than words ever could. When she stepped away from Hollywood to focus on UNICEF, Eastwood's respect grew. "True beauty," he said, "shows itself when the cameras stop rolling." Hepburn didn't just make you look at her, she made you reflect on yourself, on how to carry yourself with grace. 5. Sophia Bold. Powerful, unapologetically sensual, Sophia Loren commanded attention. Born Sofia Villani Ciccolone in 1934. Rome, she rose from war-torn poverty to become an icon of mature femininity, a stark contrast to Hollywood's girl-next-door archetype. At the 1965 Cannes Film Festival, Eastwood noticed how she didn't enter a room. She kicked the door down. It wasn't just her looks, it was intelligence and humor behind them. Loren's Oscar-winning performance in Two Women proved her beauty went deeper. She could be ugly, angry, desperate, and still mesmerizing. Unlike most sex symbols who invited attention, Loren was slightly beyond reach. Eastwood noted, "Most beautiful women want you to feel strong. Sophia made you feel like you had to prove you were strong enough for her." Her beauty matured with time, refusing Hollywood's mold while redefining it. 4. Jean. Ethereal, haunting, impossible to forget. Clint met her early in his career and said, "She looked like a ghost, and I couldn't stop watching her." Some women announce themselves, others slip in quietly and linger in your memory forever. Jean Seberg was the latter, a fleeting presence with permanent impact. Born in Iowa in 1938, Jean Seberg became iconic after Otto Preminger cast her as Joan of Arc in St. Joan, 1957. Though the film flopped, it launched a career bridging Hollywood and the French New Wave. Eastwood met her in 1968 at a small Paris gathering and was mesmerized. "She looked almost translucent," he recalled. Not fragile, but otherworldly. Her pixie haircut and ethereal presence became legendary. Eastwood was drawn to the intelligence and sadness behind her eyes, a beauty inseparable from vulnerability. Even amid FBI harassment and personal tragedy, Seberg created art that haunted audiences. For Eastwood, some faces linger not for youth, but for something essential. Seberg was one of them. 3. Ingrid Bergman. Hollywood royalty and Eastwood's lifelong screen crush, Ingrid Bergman radiated unvarnished authenticity. Born in Stockholm in 1915, she transformed American cinema with classics like Casablanca, Notorious, and Spellbound. Meeting her in 1978, Eastwood was struck by her presence. Nothing artificial, nothing hidden, just strength and grace. Bergman welcomed aging, embraced each earned line, and carried herself with courage rare in Hollywood. Scandal in the 1950s didn't break her. She lived honestly and unapologetically. Eastwood admired how she used her beauty in service of characters, not vanity. "Watch Autumn Sonata," he advised, a masterclass in integrity and timeless elegance. Bergman's beauty wasn't about vanity, it was honesty. In Autumn Sonata, she played a pianist who had devastated her daughter's life, unflinchingly revealing pain, strength, and weakness. Most actresses shy away from unlikable roles. Bergman sought them out. She embraced natural light, minimal makeup, and authenticity, trusting her face to tell the story. Eastwood admired how she gave everything on screen, a beauty that endured because it was real. 2. Sandra Locke. Unlike the others, Sandra Locke's beauty was entwined with Eastwood's life. Born in Tennessee in 1944, she earned an Academy Award nomination before meeting him on The Outlaw Josie Wales, 1975. Over a 14-year relationship and 6 films, Eastwood was captivated by her raw, vulnerable presence. "I never got over how she looked at me when the cameras weren't rolling," he admitted. Locke's beauty wasn't conventional. It was emotional, almost uncomfortable, a wounded intensity that drew you in. On screen, she blended toughness with profound vulnerability in films like The Gauntlet, Bronco Billy, and Sudden Impact. Working with someone you love, Eastwood reflected, changes everything. But her presence haunted him. Locke's beauty was inseparable from complexity. Their 14-year relationship and 6 films together were both creative and turbulent. "Certain people mark you," Eastwood reflected. Her wounded intensity, the way she looked at him off camera, made her unforgettable. Unlike conventional Hollywood starlets, Sandra's beauty was raw, vulnerable, and sometimes uncomfortable, something that stayed with you long after the credits rolled. Even after their acrimonious split and public lawsuits, Eastwood included her on his list, noting that true beauty isn't always easy. It can be challenging, even disturbing, yet profoundly affecting. 1. Marilyn Monroe. At the top of Eastwood's list was Marilyn Monroe, the most dangerous kind of beautiful. They never worked together, yet he was captivated by her presence, the way she moved, glowed, and made everyone else fade into the background. Born Norma Jean Mortensen in 1926, Monroe transformed herself from orphan to 20th century sex symbol. But what enthralled Eastwood wasn't the construction, it was the vulnerability beneath it. He first saw her in the late 1950s and recalled a luminous, almost electric quality. Monroe was simultaneously innocent and sensual, powerful and vulnerable, multidimensional when most sex symbols were flat. Her performances in The Misfits, Bus Stop, and Some Like It Hot revealed depth many critics overlooked. For Eastwood, her beauty transcended looks. It was humanity, humor, and hurt combined. Her early death at 36 intensified her mystique. Monroe's greatest gift, Eastwood believed, was the yearning she inspired, a recognition of fleeting, precious beauty. Even decades later, he kept iconic photographs in his office as reminders that behind every legend was a real, complicated human being. That, he said, is what made her unforgettable.